Well, good morning, everybody. This is Tim Green with Rattle Magazine. Welcome to Poet Respond Live, the only Sunday morning news show looking at current events through the lens of poetry. I'm editor of Rattle Magazine, of course. Every week we receive a lot of submissions about of poems about current events, and this is an opportunity to share the ones that we published, and also an open mic to share those that we don't. Now, if you'd like to call in, first we're going to be talking to both Michael Mark and Gary Leasing, the two poets we published this weekend, hopefully. And if you would like to join the open mic, though, at the end of the show, let me put this on the screen for you really quick. The phone number is 818-850-7727, or Skype is Rattle Poetry. So how it works is if you'd like to share a poem about, and this is for current events, so the poems that you share should be about something that's going on in the news for the last week or two. All you have to do is send a chat message to me over Skype at Rattle Poetry, or give me a phone call, let it ring a few times at 818-850-7727. And what happens is if you call, there's like a list of people who called and messaged me and stuff on Skype, and I will just call you back when the time is right. Keep in mind that there's about a minute delay, so I won't be, the stream that you're watching right now won't match the phone call. The phone call sort of could be coming from the future. So be prepared for that. Click out of your YouTube or Facebook or wherever you're watching live, and just talk to me over the phone or Skype so you don't get confused by that big delay. It also saves some bandwidth too. Now, I should say before we start, Rattle is a publication of the Rattle Foundation, a 501c3 nonprofit working to promote the practice of poetry and unaffiliated with any other organization. And we just do this because we love poetry. If you love poetry as much as we do, please make sure to click the like button or love button or do stuff like that. It's really helpful to spread these things around whatever platform you're using to watch this. How things pop up in the suggestions, which is really the engine that drives all of internet traffic these days. Those social media algorithms that suggest things to new people. Those things are suggested more if you click the like button, so please do that. It's really appreciated if you do. Now, we chose two poems this weekend, both about the coronavirus. And I want to stress, this show is really not about, it's not for coronavirus poems, but this is the biggest event that's really gone on in 100 years for the human race, I think. So it makes sense that we're all responding to it. But poems about other subjects are always welcome. I think I'm going to start writing a poem once a week, I decided. This is my new project, and if I say it out loud right now, then I will have to do it. But I'm going to write a poem too once a week about some kind of science news. And that's going to be my contribution to Poet Respond Live starting next Sunday. So hold me accountable for that. But we did choose two poems this week about dealing with COVID-19 and in the situations that we're all living through under quarantines and lockdowns and so forth. And the first poem we published this week was Too Close by Michael Mark in this really interesting format. You can see here. And I'm going to give Michael Mark a call right now. I'm going to try to see if we can talk to everybody who we published too. That'll be a lot of fun. So I'm calling up Michael Mark now. Michael, hello. Let me pull you in 1 second so everybody can see you, but you got a good connection there. You got a really good connection. You are very large. Nice. Okay. Oh, no. It's just that you have so much bandwidth. The video is huge. Okay. So good to see you, Michael. How you doing?
It's great to see you, Tim. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can see you and hear you. You're live on the air. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's great to see. I have to say always how much I appreciate what you've done for my life in the community, the poetry community. Seriously, how generous you are. I don't know how you do it. The hours in the day, you must have more than 24 hours. I don't know how you get those, but it's really remarkable. Especially, I think you're essential at this time. So thank you.
Oh, thanks, Mike. I appreciate that. And we published you a bunch of times, and you used to come to the literary festival up here in Wrightwood, and so it's great to get to know you over the years. You're one of my favorite people in the poetry world too. I wanted to ask, I never followed up. Did you ever Did you talk to see Stephen Dunn like you were going to?
I did.
You did? Okay, so let me tell you. We'll just this is kind of a long story, but so I interviewed Stephen Dunn at his house for Rattle number, what was that? I don't know, 55 or something like that. You can go back and look, and it was like this Mecca kind of trip. And for me, it was like this journey through the woods, and it was snowy. And then you get to Stephen Dunn's house, who's just one of my favorite poets of all time. And it was just an amazing journey. And Michael wanted to try the same thing. So what happened with you?
I read the interview. I love Stephen Dunn, and so I just said, okay, I want to reach out and just thank him. So I did, and he said to me, what do you want? Uh, in a, well, if you'd ask, I want to work with you for a few days at your house. He goes, well, that's not going to happen. I mean, he's Stephen Dunn. But he did look at some of my poems, and he wrote me something very nice, and he said, okay, come over.
Oh, wow.
So I got on a plane and I went, but before I did, I was terrified. And I read that interview that you had done with him, and you encouraged me, as you have in other ways, and I thank you again. And it was so remarkable. I'm still learning from the 3 days I spent with him. I wasn't in his house the whole time,
Yeah.
although he and his wife Barbara are remarkable.
They really are. Their house is like an art center in that town. It is. Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So your poem is this Too Close, which is it was so sort of clever and delightfully entertaining, I thought, this format, which everybody can see here. Do you want to read it and then we'll talk about it maybe?
Oh yeah, I'm glad to.
Okay.
Too close. The knives in the drawer are not only teeth up, I notice they're too close. So I get my latex gloves, mask, barbecue tongs, and begin the operation. As often the case with surgery, once you go in, you see things you hadn't before. The spoons are practically having sex. Not my business, normally teas inside tables and a ceramic souvenir from Stockholm peeping. I proceed with the prophylactic procedure. It's a time to be thorough. Though I know what I can do in the house, I can't on the road, cars in their lanes, but now too close, same with parked trees and properties whose square footage share slatted fences, and the neighbor has it, according to local buzz. They can't just be slid over. She's not a neighbor, Lois hollers from the other room, watching the news too close to the TV, residue from times of smaller screens. Closeness mutates, spreads, and shrinks everywhere, not always easy to see. She's 3 streets away, she says about the neighbor, while I apply the ruler test to the books and wait for her to get up from her chair.
And that was the poem from yesterday, Too Close by Michael Mark. So Michael, how did that form? Like, where did you get the idea for enclosing each of the words like that? That's something I've never seen before. I love when I come across, reading. I think I did the math once, and I think I've read 2 million poems as submissions, and I never seen anybody do that. And it's a concrete poem that sort of doesn't have to work as a concrete, like it works as a regular poem anyway, but there's that concrete element. Where did you come up with that? Where did that idea come from?
I think I wanted just to dramatize what the separation does between everything. And I immediately started doing commas in between each word. And I said, you know what, let me do it more. And so what can I do? So I tried the parentheses, and I said to myself, I think this is either a trick and silly, or maybe it has a moment. Maybe there's a dramatic moment that brings to the poem, there's something physical to it, because this is a physical as well as, of course, psychological, emotional state we're in. Yeah, that's what I did.
Yeah, well, thanks. I'm glad you did, because it really works. I mean, it's a there's humor in there, and then it sort of plays on the obsessiveness, but then there's the real truth of it too, which is that anytime I'm anywhere out, and I think too close, too close, you know.
Well,
And
yeah. I mean, if it wasn't for you, I mean, I probably would have gone to AWP. Not that anybody else shouldn't have gone who went, but I was on the fence. And I read your post, and I came away and I spoke to Lois, who stars in the poem in my life. Um, and I said, I don't know. And we talked a lot about it. We read your post again and again. And
oh,
I'm
really?
so pleased and happy and thankful that you wrote that post. You continue to encourage and bring science to it. Some may not agree with it, and that's okay, but I do appreciate it.
Hmm. Oh, well, yeah, I'm glad that just making choices to stay safe. That's good.
Yeah.
You're down in San Diego, right?
Yeah.
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 How are things there? It seems like I looked at the chart, and there's really very few deaths in San Diego.
It seems that way. Honestly, I'm not the scientist that you are. This is why I take the poem, which is, this epidemic or pandemic, and I make it a personal story about me and my wife in our house and our silverware, because I don't understand the world that large. So I hope everybody is going to be as safe as possible, but I don't know the numbers.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, I think vitamin D might play a factor,
You said, yeah.
yeah, so that might be one of the reasons why, or a lot of it's just luck too. Where those super spreaders happen to be early on. But anyway, yeah, thanks for sharing that poem and for joining us today, Michael. It's always great to see you, and I hope to see you again sometime at the Rightwood Literary Festival again
Yeah, me too.
if
I'd
we
love
can
that.
have it. I might as well say to everybody here who's watching, if you're planning coming, we decided this week to cancel it because we can't. It's in September, and I was holding off as long as I could, but we just can't do it this year. So it'll hopefully be back in 2021, and hope to see you there when it is, Michael.
Me too. Thanks,
Yeah,
Tim.
thanks, Mike. Bye. Okay, so that was one of the two poems we published this week. And the other one was by Gary Leasing, or Lessing. I'm not sure how to say his name. But let's give Gary a call, too, and see how he's doing. Gary's poem was 5 mannequins and 1 person at the socially distanced dining room. And I saw him on here. Yeah, here we go. Let's see. So just bear with me for 1 second while I pull him in. Hey, Gary, let me, okay, 1 second. Let me pull you in so everybody can see you. Hello. So how you doing, Gary? Good to see you.
Good, good. How are you, Ken?
I'm great. So where are you calling from? Where do you live? I don't remember.
Uh, I'm in Clinton, New York. It's in the Mohawk Valley,
Uh-huh.
central New York, about an hour from Syracuse.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah. So an hour from Syracuse, so an hour east. Yeah. I'm from Rochester, New York, so where I grew up. So I'm a
Okay.
upstate Western New Yorker too. Um, so your poem that you sent, which is today's poem, is 5 mannequins and 1 person at the socially distanced dining room, which is based on a news article. Well, do you just want to talk about it? Describe what you're writing about.
Well, yeah, so I saw this article first. I think it was in a small online paper out of Washington, D.C., and then it started to pick up traction. I think NPR might have covered the story as well. A restaurant that was ready to reopen, but of course couldn't open at full capacity. And the chef had the idea to make people feel more comfortable, like they were in a regularly crowded restaurant, and putting mannequins at some of the tables. And he got a theater company, I understand, to help clothe them in
Oh,
1940s era clothing. And so, the articles that I saw all had photos of this dining room, and something about it looked really strange to me. Right, the mannequins who were posed, who were clearly fake. Their clothing is clearly out of touch with the time. It seemed creepy to me. It may have also seemed sort of a little have extra danger in my mind, because I was just reading Eric Larson's book about Churchill during World War II. So I'm thinking of the 1940s and the sort of dangers in London at that time. People kind of staying, trying to stay safe then, as we are trying to stay safe now.
Yeah, well, I put the pictures up on the screen from the article so people could see. It is very creepy, and yeah. And so, what you did with this poem, what is the form? One of the things I wanted to say is that I love poetry that's written in form. We publish so little of it, and it drives me crazy because we just get so few submissions that are formally written. It's a free verse world kind of still, but I wish that were not the case. So what is this form though? What are 8 line? There's a refrain.
So yeah, this is a triolet. It's 8 lines. The first and second line become refrains, and it's an A-B rhyme in the first 2 lines, and then those are the only 2 rhymes you use over the 8 lines. Mostly the A rhyme. There's only, other than the repetition, only one other line
Mm-hmm.
rhymes with the B rhyme, and so they're the first and second line, and then they become the second to last and last line as well, and in the middle there, the first line gets repeated. And it just struck me that, right, with the sense of everyone staying at home, going through routines, that repetition was useful in this
Mm-hmm.
poem to kind of catch
Yeah,
the sort of
yeah. The whole thing is just
of
so emblematic of what the safer at home era is like, where it's like it's both the repetition and like the sense of paused, that the mannequins bring out. So, do you want to read it for everybody?
Yeah,
Okay.
sure. And I'll just say that each one of so there's 6 of them, and each one is a different voice. 5 of them as the title lets you know. 5 of them are being spoken by the mannequins, and then there's one that I imagine one person sitting there. And if anyone's looking at the picture or seeing it, you can probably try to match up
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
easily. I hope who these speakers are. So five mannequins and one person at the socially distanced dining room. A proposal. I'm down before you on my bended knee offering a ring. Diners strain to hear me speak. My hat, white suit, and words circa 1940 all fold before you as I bend my knee and ask your hand. The war worries the country, and we might all be dead within a week. I'm down before you on a bended knee offering this ring. I strain and strain to speak. An observing woman at another table. More interested in the butter than this scene, my affianced appears to count the fork tine by tine. My lump of a man slumps over the cuisine, more interested in plain butter than this scene, and all meal long, not a word passed between my love and I. The waiter poured wine and wine. More interested in the butter than this scene, my affianced appears as dull as the fork tine. The man who wants to leave. My hat is on the table. I know it's unmannerly, but Le Garçon keeps passing us by. The little wife says, "We have nowhere to be. Take your hat off the table. It's unmannerly." I'm stubborn, lady. Be patient. Why can't you be patient? Her cheeks quiver. She's going to cry. My hat is on the table. I know it's unmannerly. So, damn it, is the garçon passing us by. The man seated alone. I don't know why I'm here, but I've nowhere else to be, and so I sit, food gone, bill paid. I'm not wanted by anyone, not my wife or kids, not the maitre d'. No one wants me here, but I've nowhere else to be except among the non-living, all of them like me. The world is still and fine. It's only me that's haunted. I don't know why I'm here, where I don't want to be, and so I sit, bill paid, food gone, and no, I'm not wanted. The lone human diner. I wait for them to move, resume their lives. Will one raise the water glass to her lips? A roomful of fake hands rest by shiny knives. I wait for them to move, resume their lives, stroll outside to see what from before survives, how the world changed during the apocalypse. I wait for them to move, resume their lives. Will she please raise a glass to her lips? The woman being asked the question. 10,000 tomorrows hang on my reply. some bad, some good, in the yes or no I give? Can he see the future like a film strip in my eye? 10,000 tomorrows hang on my reply. Possible lives I accept, other ones I must deny. Will this be the rut stuck existence I have to live? 10,000 tomorrows hang on my reply. Some good, some bad. No or yes, I give.
Thanks so much. That was Gary Lessing again, reading his poem, Five Mannequins and One Person at the Socially Distanced Dining Room. It's just such a, when I go through submissions, I'm really looking for stuff that I remember after I've read the whole batch. And that the images that you put out there just stick with me so much. And then this line too, will this be the rut stuck existence I have to live? 10,000 tomorrows hang on my reply. Just the rut stuck existence that we're all living. So, yeah. Thanks for sharing that, Gary, and thanks for joining us on the show today.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for putting it out there online and for having me here.
Yeah, my pleasure. Yeah, stay safe and see you soon. Bye.
Thanks, you too.
Okay, so that was Gary Lessing, or Leasing. I should have asked him how to say that. Now let's open up the open lines and see what you have for us today. The pleasure of reading poetry response submissions is always mine, and this is a way to share that pleasure too. So let's see. So I'm going to go up in order that the phone calls were received, and we'll try to get to everybody. Let's see. Let's see. So Vidya Van Cott is here. Let's call her up first. Hey, Vidya, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, good. Yeah, turn off anything else you got going on, then I will pull you in. Hello. So how you doing today?
Yeah, I'm good. Like I said, I wanted to read out the poem that I submitted this week for the Poet's Response.
Is this This Train Runs on Blood?
Yeah, This Train Runs on Blood.
Okay, great title. Let's see. Here we go. Okay, so do you want to just talk about what? And you're calling from India, from New Delhi.
From Chennai.
From where?
From Chennai.
Oh, yeah. Okay. And so do you want to talk about what the poem is about?
Yeah, actually, there was a news report last week about the death of 16 migrant workers in a place in Maharashtra, where these workers were, as you know, because of the lockdown, a lot of factories have shut, entire cities have shut. So people are trying to get back home. And there's a major crisis, humanitarian crisis unfolding in India right now, with tens and thousands of migrant workers trying to get back home and trying to reach home safely, and there is no transport, so people are walking for miles and miles together in the hot summer on foot, trying to get to the nearest station. And the government started some train services to ensure that the migrants can get back to their hometowns. And these people were exhausted from walking for a very long time, and they slept on the railway track, and a goods train ran over them, and it was a very sad incident, and when I read it, I was really I was pained to read this report. And what was even more painful was the sort of reactions that came after this news broke. A lot of people were accusing the workers for being very reckless, and like, why did they even lie down there, and a lot of unkind remarks being made about these people without realizing how difficult that journey would have been for them. So I wrote a poem responding to this incident. And trains and me have, go back a long way. My childhood home in Calcutta was next to a railway station, so we could literally hear the trains pass by. So I sort of tried to reconnect my memory as well, when I wrote this poem. So can I read it?
Yeah, please do. We're all set.
Yeah. Yes. Uh, this train runs on blood. Once upon a time, a 5 a.m. monster that was screechingly halt by the local railway station next to my childhood home in Calcutta used to be my mother's morning alarm. The memory of that goods train thundering past our abode, rocking its flimsy walls, is vivid still. Who would have thought that a day would arrive when 16 hapless factory workers sleeping on the lines would meet one such monster, never to wake up this time? Images of their bloodied bodies scattered on the railway track fill the morning papers, crushed under the merciless wheels of an unending curfew, homebound on foot, hungry, penniless, and confused. Some say they might have tried to kill themselves in distress, but why would these men, only a few hours' walk away from the station to catch the train home, throw themselves to death? The truth is, the train of our national economy runs on their go, the blood and sweat of nameless laborers sacrificing life and limb to keep our dipping economic graph forever chugging along. Rumors of their recklessness are just to hide that embarrassing fact that we have got blood on our hands.
And that was This Train Runs on Blood. Thanks so much for sharing that video. That was such a sad story, and there were several actually this week. I think we had 3 poems similar about the migrant problems. There was one article that somebody wrote about somebody who was walking, had to walk, I think 1,000 or 800 miles or something like that, and then died on the journey too. So that was another one. Yeah, just so many tragedies going on right now. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for sharing that and for joining us today.
Thanks.
Okay.
Thank
Have a
you.
good one. Bye. Okay, let's see. So who is up next? Let's see. This is JC. It says, "Hi Tim, this is JC. I wonder if that's Jefferson Carter. The Poarty project, Poartry project, is his Skype." So one thing I should say, if you're using Skype, a lot of times people forget to turn the ringer on. So you have to say that there's like a little setting, and you say either do not disturb or available. I have it on do not disturb so that you don't hear the phone, but you have to put it on available so that you can hear the ring when I call. Let's see. Well, whoever that was is not answering. Though it might be Jefferson Carter, and he gave me his phone number too. But I'll try that. It'd be nice to get his voice though, or his face though. Let me do another one. Let's do Margaret Koger. And I should say too, if you oh, Margaret, are you there? Margaret?
Yes, I'm
Hi.
here.
Yeah, you're gonna be on in 1 second. Push the camera button if you'd like to be on screen, because I can't see you yet. It's between the hang up and the microphone. Margaret, can you hear me? Here
Yes.
you come. Okay. Here you go. There you are. Okay, let me pull you in so everybody else can see you too. Good morning. How are you doing today? Oh, you push the mute to unmute yourself. The mute button is next to the. There you go. Oh, okay. Now we can hear and see you. Yeah, good.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks so much for joining us today.
All right.
Where are you calling from?
Boise, Idaho.
And how are things doing in Boise, Idaho? That seems like it's a place I have not heard anything of, and it's like in a football game, if you don't hear the lineman's name, it's a good sign there was no holding penalties or anything. So I assume that that means things are kind of okay in Boise if no one's talking about it.
Okay, Tim, I have a little problem.
Oh, you can't hear? Yeah, I think it's. Let's see. Yeah, we can't hear you now. Oh, you muted yourself again. So the microphone, there you go. I think I can hear you now. Can you say something? Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we can hear
me
you now. Yeah, we're
Yeah.
good. So don't touch anything else. We're all set. Oh, no
Sorry about
problem.
that. Okay.
So what did you want to share today?
I have a poem called Hard By.
And what's it about?
It's just about trying to write when you're locked at home with COVID and you're trying to make words fit the situation. And I kind of suspect that and I know what a lot of people want to hear are how this is going to get better, and I'm not feeling like how it's going to get better.
Okay,
So,
well, I have it up for everybody if you want to read it. Hard by. But okay.
Okay. Hard by. Today is a locked cabinet, a fairy housing the hours chiming their insistent passages. Hard by, the lilacs breed perfume, sap drenching the pollen air. Here and there, a chickadee pleads his randy case, and the keys beneath my fingers con words up, words to ease novel virus pain. My fingers stroke hard by the hours, stitch seeming tales they want to spread. They want to hear, oh, words, but find no comment. When all your contacts fold the hours away, will new ones follow? Is spring the harbinger of death? When you cough and the lilacs wilt, will you pickle the petals in brine? What you leave out will always be missing.
Thanks so much. That was Margaret Koger reading Hard By. I love that line, when all your contacts fold the hours away, will new ones follow. It's good stuff. Thank you so much for sharing that, Margaret.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, let me see. Okay, I'm going to try again. This person, I think it might be Jefferson Carter. Hello. Who am I talking to? Oh, hang on one second. Let me pull you in so everybody can see you. And this is not Jefferson Carter. Oh, and you have a... Hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Oh, we lost the call. So the Poetry Project is not Jefferson Carter. That's a different JC. I know Jefferson Carter wanted me to call him. Let's see. I'm going to try one more time. The connection just was dropped as soon as it was added. Let's try this again. Hey, can you hear me now? Okay, good. You're on the air. Everybody can see you. Can you? Hello? You're on the air. Can you hear me? You must not be able to hear me. I don't know. The sound must not be coming out of those microphones, but I can't help. Yeah. We'll try. We'll try back with that JC in a little bit. I'll type a little message. But let's try Jefferson Carter, who another JC. Let's see here. We'll call him up.
Hello?
Hey, Jefferson. This is Tim.
Hey, Tim.
Tim with Rattle. Yeah.
Yeah, how you doing?
I'm good. You're live on the air.
Okay.
So
Great.
so you're in Tucson, right?
Yeah.
And how are you doing there?
I'm sheltering at home. I don't go out very much. And when I do, I wear my mask.
Mm-hmm.
And I wash my hands like a raccoon.
Yeah, yeah. The raccoon is the mascot with the mask and the
Right,
constant
right.
hand washing. Yeah, it's true. So you set up called Little Libraries. Do you want to say anything about what it's about?
Well, our libraries are closed, and so I haven't been able to get to any books. So I started going around to these little free libraries we have around the community, and taking books out, putting other books in, and so I just wrote this poem. I was biking around, my neighborhood, and this came to me.
Okay, well, everybody can see it, so just go ahead and read.
Okay, thanks. Little libraries. I've been scavenging the neighborhood's little free libraries. Take a book, leave a book. But so far, I've only scored an old Ruth Rendell murder mystery and a 2012 Jehovah's Witness yearbook in Spanish. I bike past an old man and an old woman, 6 feet apart, wearing plague masks, rolling along inside their plastic bubbles. Our neighbor spray painted the lemons on his tree to disguise them as inedible ornamental oranges. He's keeping America great. The Palo Verde trees foaming yellow, the sky a shameless baby blue, Aleppo pines like enhanced broccoli in the front yards. I unknot my bandana and breathe deeply. My God, what a day.
It was Little Libraries by Jefferson Carter. Thanks so much for joining us and sharing that, Jefferson.
All right. Thanks, Tim.
Yeah, my pleasure. It's always
Stay in
nice to hear
touch.
from you. Yeah, definitely. You too.
Okay, see you later.
Yep, bye.
Bye.
Yeah, Jefferson Carter's been in a few issues of Rattle. I think most recently maybe the winter issue this year. Let's see, who is up next? Just checking my messages here, and yeah, I was gonna say before, if your poem was something submitted to Poets Respond, I can pull it up just through Submittable. If you want to read something about current events that you didn't submit to Poets Respond, you can also email it to openmic@rattle.com, all one word, openmic@rattle.com, and we'll get to you then. Let's see who. Let's try Pranab Ghosh. We tried him last week and he wasn't there at the right time. Let's see if we can catch him this time. Or at least I think it didn't connect last week. Let's see. So it's ringing now. Well, it's ringing for me. And I don't have the ringer on for you, which is good. You don't want to hear this annoying ring. I don't know why they can't just use a phone ringing sound. Yeah, I think Pranab is not... It's Pranab Ghosh, a poet from... let me see where he's from. West Bengal, India, Calcutta. So Pranab, I'll try again in a little bit. We'll try it again because we couldn't connect last week either. Let me see. Let's go to somebody I know we can connect with. Caitlin Buxbaum. She's a regular.
Hello?
Hey, Caitlin, good to hear you. I can't see you yet. There you go. Okay, let me pull you in for...
Oh, you got me?
I got you for everybody. How you doing today?
Okay. Pretty good. Too many things at once here. Hold on.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay. What? Now it's asking if I want to share my screen. No, I don't.
No,
okay.
Yeah, don't share your
All
screen.
right. Sorry.
Yeah, no problem.
Because you were calling somebody, and then you were talking about calling somebody else. I'm like, oh, it'll be a while if he calls me. And then it started ringing.
Yeah,
and I was just about to comment on the ringing, too.
Yeah, the ringing is just the most annoying sound. I don't know why they can't come up with something better.
Well, what I was going to say is I don't even mind the ring. It's just the confusing, like, wait, is that me or is that him calling someone else?
Mm-hmm. That's a problem, too, for sure. Yeah.
Anyway.
I never even thought of that. So it's a good thing I hit mute. I hit mute just to spare people from the ring. But yeah, you'd all think I'm calling you every time. Yeah. So what did you want to share today?
Okay, so I did decide to read the one that I submitted this week called Perspectiva.
Okay, I have it.
I changed like a tiny bit of punctuation, but not a big deal.
Okay, and do you want to talk a little bit about what it's about?
Yeah, so there's a lot of things that are actually going into this poem, and so I'm thinking it probably needs some time to figure out what it really wants to be.
Mm-hmm.
But I've been learning a lot of languages on Duolingo, including Spanish, and every time I watch a movie or a show that is in a different language or has portions that are in a different language, I immediately want to go learn that language. And so a couple months ago, I was watching Narcos Mexico, which was amazing, like super dark, but really good. And I started following the lead actor, Diego Luna, on Twitter. And last week, he tweeted out something in Spanish, and so I had to hit the little translate button because I don't know that much Spanish. But he was talking about what's going on in Mexico right now, and it was just one of those moments where I realized so much is going on outside of my world that I miss all the time for various reasons. But I followed this rabbit trail and found some statistics on crime in Mexico right now that were really just staggering to me. So even though they were reported like a month and a half ago, I was only just finding it this week. So that's where this poem came from.
Yeah. There's so much. It's true. There's so much going on in the world that gets sort of, I don't know, that's related to the coronavirus, but is different too, and outside of our awareness, and that's definitely one of them. I also heard that there's like supply shortages of the precursors for a lot of drugs. So the drug cartels are like fighting over like the supply chain in the same way we are, except they fight with bullets instead of like, I don't know what we economics.
I know, right?
Yeah. But okay, so do you want to read it now?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I wanted to title this poem Perspective, and then I was like, what's perspective in Spanish? And I got Perspectiva. So I was like, oh, well, that's not too hard. So this is Perspectiva. Mexico owned more murders in March than North America has registered in months. And you know what? I learned this from an actor's tweet last week, translated by Google, no doubt, into English for only me, it seems, since the papers, what papers, have neglected those headlines in favor of this confounding disease and the problems within our borders. Perhaps I'm not being fair. These days, journalists can do no right, scientists can do no wrong, and we all have too much information from too few sources. If only we could trust people to know what's right, to say nothing of achieving it. Maybe we could devote more time to learning each other's languages instead of debating which deaths matter most. But if no one is listening, how will we learn to speak the truth, fill the space between us with enough light to see ourselves for what we all are? Human beings. Parents, teachers, children, and nurses. Celebrities, politicians, coaches. The list goes on, and so will we. But tonight, I'll say my oraciones. Soñar for the ones who can't anymore.
Thanks. Yeah, and that was Perspectiva by Caitlin Muxbaum, and I love that too much news from too few sources, or whatever that line was. It's so true. But yeah, that's one of the things that's been over the years of doing Poets Respond. You see the outside world, outside of sort of the little narrow channel that like our Facebook and Twitter and stuff have, based on the U.S. media, because there's so many stories going on around the world that just are not reported in the U.S. corporate media. So yeah.
And honestly, Poets Respond has made me read a lot more news than I have been reading,
that's
which
great.
My friends always find funny because I used to be a reporter in my hometown. And so they're like, how do you not know the news? Like, you used to work for a newspaper. But I don't know. I don't often seek out these other things. And so, yeah, thanks for Poets
Yeah, my
Respond.
pleasure. And a recommendation: foreign newspapers in English are so much better sources than our newspapers. I just have to say, like Der Spiegel or like Le Monde or something like that. But anyway, um, yeah, I mean that's where I don't know. Other countries have a better media than we do. You just have to admit that. But anyway, thanks so much, Caitlin. Thanks for sharing that, and good to see you again.
Yeah, thank
Okay,
you.
bye.
See ya.
Okay, let's see. We got a bunch of phone numbers. I don't know who they are, but let's try some of these. Let's try this. I'm trying to go roughly in the order they appeared. This is a 575 number. Since we don't have time to get to everybody every week, I'm going to try to like find new people as much as I can, but it's hard to remember who we've talked to and who we haven't, especially when they're phone numbers. But we'll try this 575 number and see who that might be. So it's ringing now.
Hello?
Hey, this is Tim Green with Rattle. Did you want to read a poem for Poets Respond Live?
Absolutely. Yes, sir. Thank you for having me today.
Yeah, my pleasure. Who am I talking to?
This is Levi Miracle calling from Tucumcari, New Mexico.
Ah, Levi. Good to hear
Yes.
from you. Let me try to find your poem. Did you submit a poem on
I
Poets
sure did yesterday,
Okay, let me see.
and it's entitled Inevitably Free.
Okay, let me Yep, here we go. Inevitably Free. Okay. Do you want to say anything about what it's about?
Yes, it's just about racism in general.
Mm-hmm. And Ahmaud Arbery, yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And I just think it's tragic that white people, for the most part, they've just been terrible throughout the hundreds of years and everything, and it's I just find it appalling. And this is a poem about that.
Okay, well, we're ready to go if you want to read it. Everybody can read
sir.
along. Yeah.
Alrighty. Inevitably Free, for Ahmaud Arbery. Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. I want you all to close your eyes to your mind. Close your eyes, and somewhere deep inside your psyche, imagine. Imagine there is a burning cross on a lawn. Itchy fingers, warm tongues, frigid hearts. There is a black man sitting on his porch, shotgun in hand, synchronizing the rocking of his chair to the familiar whistling of wood burning to cinders. A man stands between him and them, a Bible nestled between his chest and his forearm, small handgun between the pages, a small prayer-like taste stuck to his lips. White faces hiding behind white sheets, a white man hiding behind his faith and his God, a black pride hiding behind absolutely nothing. He pleads for mercy, for righteousness, but these white boys will be white boys. A man approaches him, club in hand, a starving dog ready to feast. He pulls the pistol from its holy shield, one warning shot to the heavens, the next he warrants goes between his eyes. But these white boys will be white boys. He shoots the hooded man like he promised. As the herd of jackals become enraged, no book pages from a holy host can save them now. Moments pass, a couple more men dead. Two men end up standing on two stools, two ropes strung around two necks. Tears stream down the preacher man's face, the taste of prayers still stinging his lips. He looks over at the man beside him. The look of stone-cold inevitability encumbers his face. He pleads one last time, but these white boys will be white boys. As the preacher hangs like a newly born carcass, twitching with fear, the smell of cinder still lingering as a white fog in the air. But before he closes his eyes for good, he imagines somewhere deep inside his psyche, two men walking on peaceful roads, no burning crosses, no white boys hiding behind white sheets, no police brutality, no protests, no need for movements, just men and women sitting on their porches, the laughter as rich as the heavens, a world where men are defined not by their skin color, but by the footprints they leave in the sands of the earth, where people are not defined as black or as white, but as men and women. They say boys will be boys, but it's truly the men that redefine the meaning of humanity. So now, I want you all to open your eyes to your mind, open your eyes and look around the world. I see no black or white, brown or yellow. I see no race nor creed, Jew or Gentile. I see no gay or transgender, lesbian or straight people. No. When I look around this earth, all I see are humans. Just humans. All beautiful people, all the same. Now think of how far we've come. But then I want you to think of how far we still have to go. I want you all to now open the eyes to your mind, open your eyes, and imagine. Imagine a world where everyone sees people and only the pigmentation of their hearts. Open your eyes. Please, please, just open your eyes.
Thanks so much. That was Levy Miracle reading Inevitably Free. I love that line, the where people aren't judged by the color of their skin, but by the footprints they leave. That's a great twist on that.
Thank you very much, Tim.
Yeah, thanks so much for calling in and sharing that.
Thank you. This is my first time here, so I will tune in more often.
Yeah, please do. Please do. It's always good to hear from you. Thanks a lot.
All right, thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Let's see. So we have about we go always a little over an hour. Let me tree. Let's see. So Pranab Ghosh. Let's try him again. Oops. He's saying Skype has been giving him trouble, but he reinstalled it. So let's give him another chance. Yeah, it's still not ringing. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. It might be just the connection. Yeah. Sorry about that. Let's see. Let's do Anita Lyric. See if she's on. So I'm calling up Anita Lyric right now. Let's see, she has confined a sequence. If she answers. Anita, hi, we had you for a second, then we lost you. Let me try again. You were there, and then it dropped. Nope, it didn't work again. Yeah, I think we have a lot more difficulties with Skype at this time of day, maybe, as opposed to the Tuesday Rattlecast. I think maybe more people are using their servers during the midday. Oh, maybe all the church services too. A lot of them are using these servers. We'll try Anita one more time in a second. Let's bounce to someone over the phone. The phone is always very reliable. Let's see, we have a 203 number. And we'll see who that is. Hey, this is Tim Green with Rattle. You are live on the air. Turn off your video so you can't see your YouTube stream or wherever you're watching, so there's no echo. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I turned it off.
Okay.
How you doing?
Good. How you doing? Who am I talking to?
Celine Mariotti in Connecticut.
Hi, Celine. Good to hear from you again. Let me pull you in. Here you go. So you're live now.
Okay.
And what did you want to share today?
The poem I wrote this week, remembering some special celebrities, because quite a few people in the entertainment world have passed away, and because of all the, the media just talking about the virus, they don't talk about some people who have passed away and who were, very well known.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought I'd write about them. So here it goes.
Okay, here we go.
Remembering some special celebrities. With the news media consumed with COVID-19, little is mentioned of some of the really big names in showbiz who have passed away. A big name in country music, Kenny Rogers, is now singing up in heaven songs like The Gambler, Through the Years, Lady, Ruby Don't Take Your Love to Town, Coward of the County, Crazy, and many more. We all remember the words to The Gambler. You've got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away, know when to run. You never find your money sitting at the table. You'll be counting up the money when the day is done. And we won't forget a big name in comedy, the one and only Jerry Stiller, who made us all laugh, especially when he and his wife Ann Mara performed together. And he made appearances in many nighttime shows. And let us remember Little Richard, a rock and roll icon from the 50s and 60s, with his fancy hairdo. And One Life to Live fans will always remember when he performed for Bo and Nora's wedding. And lastly, let us all never forget Roy Horn of Siegfried and Roy, that famous Las Vegas duo who drew many people to the Mirage to see them perform their magic and amaze everyone with their tigers, one which attacked Roy on stage, ending their performances as he became somewhat disabled after the attack. Ironically, he died from the coronavirus. So even when the main news is the virus, so much more is going on, so much we need to pay attention to. So let us give these folks a thought and a prayer. They were entertainers who filled our lives with joy. We can bid them adieu and au revoir, and pray for their souls as they go to that big stage in the great beyond.
Thanks so much. That was Celine Mariotti reading Remembering Some Special Celebrities. And yeah, I remember I didn't realize that Roy Horn and Kenny Rogers had died. Somehow I completely missed that over the last week or two or whenever it was. Yeah, thanks for sharing that, Celine.
Thank you. I always like listening to the open mic and hearing everybody's poems. It's really nice.
It is, yeah. Thanks for joining us every week.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
You too.
Okay, let's see. Let's see. I'm going to try Kirsten Monroe. Yeah, we have a huge list of people who want to call this week. So thanks so much for everybody. I haven't been able to even look at how many are watching live, but I assume it must be a good number because we have way more people than we can get to. But we'll get through a few more. Let's see. So now this is Kirsten Monroe we're trying to call. And somebody, who was it? Yeah, Richard Westheimer mentioned that Zoom was down earlier.
Oh, hi.
Kirsten, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, let me pull you in and click your video button if you want everybody else to be able to see you.
Yeah, my webcam's kind of busted, bro.
Okay. Well, no problem at all. So this is Kirsten Monroe, and your voice is online. You're live. So where are you calling from?
Well, I come from Rhode Island, sir.
Well, good to hear you. Thanks so much for joining us. And the poem you wanted to share was A Lost Legend. Mm-hmm. Okay, and who do you want to introduce it at all? What it's about?
Hi. So it's basically a poem for Little Richard, who passed away last Sunday, and he was like one of the greatest legends in music because he changed it from like blues to rock and roll. Like he was one of the founding fathers of rock and roll.
Mm-hmm.
And he inspired people like Prince, Elvis, Paul McCartney from the Beatles. And he was a real influence in music and still is. Like if you notice his style, him and David Bowie, like David Bowie actually got inspiration from Little Richard for that kind of flamboyant style.
Yeah, he was definitely a legend for sure. Okay, do you want to read it? It's a lost legend. We have it up on screen.
Okay. Richard Wayne Penniman, a man from Macon, who inspired millions of men, women, and musicians. Many knew him as Little Richard, some as the Tutti Frutti Guy, a singer who paved the way for the likes of the Beatles. He helped create rock and roll, and this was his way of life. The first crossover black artist, he touched every race, a man who was and embraced bisexuals and gays. He wore sequins and makeup with pride, an inspiration to transgenders who were never heard. Religion became a huge part of his life. He loved in the body of women and preached God's word. In the 1960s, where cocaine and weed were cheap and easy to obtain, up until the mid-60s, Richard had managed to abstain until he used alcohol and weed. By 1975, he became addicted to cocaine, heroin, and PCP. His career in life started to crack as he wasted thousands of dollars a day. The tragedies he suffered, the loss of his brother, and the shooting of his nephew changed his mind. He gave up drugs, rock and roll, came back to his faith. A father who wanted 7 sons but had no room in his heart for a gay one. The third of 12 children, his mother a Baptist devoted to the church. He lived in Pleasant Hill during an era where black was separated from white. As an adult, he often recalled how his neighbors would sing gospel throughout the day to keep the pains of poverty and segregation at bay. He joined the marching band in 5th grade. He became a preacher as his talents became his life. Richard's voice was a loud and raspy force that gave rock its most known feature. Himself and his band, the Upsetters, were the first to change the pace of rhythm to funk. He was heavily inspired by the legends who came before, Mahalia Jackson being one. The charts for pop and R&B he topped on multiple occasions. Multiple record labels had came and gone before he found where he belonged. He went through lawsuits, comebacks, and a car crash, but he got there in the end. He is and always shall be an inspiration. Forever his legacy will live on.
Thanks so much. That was Kirsten Monroe reading A Lost Legend, and I learned a lot listening to that poem. My music knowledge is woefully, embarrassingly lacking. I have no sense of rhythm and can't play anything, and I'm not that into music, and so I don't know much about people like Little Richard or anybody. So that was great to learn all that. Thanks so much for sharing it, Kirsten.
No problem. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, my pleasure. Hope to hear from you again soon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, let's see. We'll try Anita Lyric again, just to see. There's a call for Anita. It was there for a second, then dropped. Nope, not working again. Gosh, there's. Let me see. Let's try this. 847. Oh, it's Lakshmi. Yeah, let's do Lakshmi. Lakshmi Nair. I think she texted. You actually text our phone number too, but we're calling her up on the phone. Hey, Lakshmi.
This is Lakshmi.
Yeah, good to hear from you. Thanks for joining the Rattlecat or the Poetry Spawn Live today.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you.
Have you been on before? I can't remember.
Last time.
You were
Sunday.
Okay. So
yeah.
What do you have for us this week?
I have a poem. I just send you by email. It's called Universe Shade. It's about the current situation, about everyone staying in, and then I saw stories of the animals starting to roam around in the streets, and so I just wrote a poem about how humans and nature, everyone sharing, all in one, and even though humans are all inside, but the animals are exploring.
Yeah. Okay. Well, here we go. Let's hear it. I have it on screen for everybody to see. So go ahead whenever you're ready.
Okay, I will. Hold on. Let me open my. Okay. This poem is called "Universe Shared." Divided, we are in a globe, continents, countries, states, cities, villages, and houses. Together, we are in houses, villages, cities, states, countries, continents, in a globe. Inside, a nucleic acid tied us in living rooms, kitchen, and bedrooms. Fact-checking inside the four walls, painfully untangling protein science. Outside, blue skies smile upon birds fly. Silent streets watch mountain goats roam. Deep luminescent ocean showcases sea tomatoes. Wind breathe softly on shoulders of new maple sprouts. Sea tomatoes are another name for pink jellyfish. They showed up in Vietnam, in some water.
Yeah. Yeah, great poem, great images there. Thanks so much for calling in and sharing that. Oh, I didn't. Are you there?
Hello?
Yeah, I don't know. I got a weird sound, but yeah, just thanks so much for calling in, Lakshmi. It was great to hear from you again. That was Universe Shared.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I just forgot to put it on speaker, so I couldn't hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, well, have a great day, and hope to hear from you soon.
Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, yeah, my pleasure. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah, that was we'll do one more, and then I got to get going. It's actually 7 minutes past 10. Let's see. Okay, we'll try the JC from the Poetry Project. And this will be the last call for today. If I haven't gotten to you, I am sorry. Hey, let me see. Let's see if this works. The connection is picked up. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? You can hear me. We can't hear you. Shoot. I am sorry. Yeah, you're not muted, but I just can't hear you. Yeah. Oh well. Sorry. Maybe next time. Yeah, the microphone must not have been working. Let's see. We'll do somebody just called. It's hard to see where. Let's see. Call ended. Missed call. Unknown person. Let's see. I'll try to find one more. Here's a missed call from 281. Hopefully, there's a 281 number I'm calling right now. This will be the last guest. Hey, this is Tim with Rattle. Can you hear me?
Hi, Tim. This is Cathy Gibbons from Houston, Texas.
Hi, Cathy. Let me pull you in for 1 second so everybody else can hear you too. So this is Cathy Gibbons from Houston, Texas. Thanks so much for calling, Cathy.
Thank you, Tim, for having us all over for poetry this morning.
Oh, it's always my pleasure. It's a lot of fun to do, and I actually got my coffee early enough that I had the caffeine. the last couple of weeks, I didn't get my coffee until it started, and you could see the difference maybe. So what did you want to share today, Cathy?
I had emailed you a poem a few minutes ago, and it's kind of a light-hearted examination of the strange little oxymoron known as isolating together, so which I think is a funny thing, but sometimes it's a funny thing. And it's called An Energy Field, sometimes described as love.
Let me try to find it, because I'm not, let's see.
Okay, I sent it into open mic just for the program, I believe.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it. Let's see.
Want me to try again, or?
Yeah, could you try again? You sent the one for the last week's open mic, but I don't see one. I'll check my spam. Yeah, but if you could send it again really quick.
Okay, I'll try to be quick. I'm not so good at
That's okay.
Let me put down the phone first.
Okay, yeah, no problem at all. Yeah, so we'll get, while Cathy's doing that, because it's always nice to read along for the poems. Yeah, I definitely see it. Yeah, so let me remind you that next week, or on Tuesday, our guest is going to be...
Apparently, it was still in my draft folder, so
okay.
I apologize about that.
Oh, no problem at all. No problem at all.
I don't know. Let me know if it comes through there.
Okay. I just have to kind of refresh a couple times. Refresh. Come on.
I don't know if Mercury's in retrograde again, but we seem to be having more technical
Yeah, the
today.
first, I think this is maybe episode 8 or so of doing these Poetry Spun Live. And the last 2 have been a lot more technical difficulties than there had been in the past.
It looks like it went through from my end.
Yeah, I'm still not getting it. Come on. I feel like I'm doing like, hitting refresh is like CPR. I'm like, come on. Wake up. Well, do you want to just read it? We could just hear.
Sure.
Okay.
And as I said, this is kind of a lighthearted meditation. I've been feeling the need for lightness lately. So, an energy field, sometimes described as love. I drink some kind of spooky dust. I rest upon your windowsill. I light the night with ghostly glow. I flit and flee from tree to tree. I see you, but you don't see me. Invisibility is key to making this dynamic spin rotational. 2 happy grins. We orbit each the other's life. Gravitational pull to stave off strife. We flit, we flee, we court, we spark. We light and warm the other's dark. It's clear to see this might be love or pure compatibility. Cool solitude, togetherness. Mandolin for you, poetry for me. We walk in peace. I think it's love. It might be solidarity. The distance near, enough to spare. It must be love. We care. We sit in silence when we can. Each in a room, not here, not there. Just always, always, everywhere. Time-lit travels on our own, all alone in aura bound. We flit, we flee, we float around, together while apart.
Thanks so much. That was Cathy Gibbons. And what, say the title of the poem again, since I can't.
It's called An Energy Field, sometimes described as love.
An energy field, sometimes described as love. Thanks so much for sharing that, Cathy. I wish we could have
Thanks for
shown
having
it, but
me,
you
Jen.
read it
Have a
great.
great
So
day.
yeah, you too. Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay, bye. Okay, so I guess that is the show for today. Yeah, to everybody I didn't get to, I'm so sorry, including Charles Harper Webb asked if he could read a poem, and I totally meant to connect with him, and I didn't see him on there. So next week maybe for him, Shaya Masri Maja, Nicole Cromer, a bunch of different phone numbers. Yeah, sorry we couldn't get to everybody this week. But thanks so much for joining us, and maybe next week. You know, most of these poems are about things that are current next week too. So we will get you in there as well. So feel free to call in next week, and I hope we can get to you next week. Now, before we go, I should say this week's guest on the Rattlecast. Oops, that's not this week's guest. Is Meg Eden. That's me Tuesday, May 19th. We're going to be talking about her book, Drowning in the Floating World, about the 2011 Japanese earthquake and tsunami. And Meg Eden, I think, grew up in Japan. And so it's a real bridge to stories from the aftermath of the earthquake and tsunami. So that's going to be this Tuesday, May 19th at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. I hope to see you there. In the meantime, I hope you have a great week, and I will... Oh, here's Cathy. It's just, the internet is... I guess so many people are using the internet that things are slower or something. Things are a little off. But here, just so you can see, this was Cathy Gibbons' poem, An Energy Field Sometimes Described as Love. So thanks so much for sharing that, Cathy. It just was too slow today. But anyway... Yeah, so next week's guest is going to be Meg Eden, And hope you can join me then. And in the meantime, hope you have a great weekend, and I will talk to you soon. Goodbye.